There are moments in history that expose the full moral character of a regime. The forced deportation and the indoctrination of children is definitely one of them. And Ukraine's abducted children, of whom over 19,000 are known by name, but also the sinister theatre Vladimir Putin has constructed around them. This theatre of lies, of gaslighting, of deliberate moral inversion, a Maskirovka, a Russian doctrine of deception designed not just to confuse, but to destroy the very meaning of law, justice, and truth, to gaslight the world in the worst possible way. Since Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022, tens of thousands of Ukrainian children have been forcibly transferred into Russia or Russian-occupied territories. Some were taken from orphanages, others from the battlefield, separated from their parents by death or chaos, and some heartbreakingly were handed over voluntarily under duress, parents duped into believing they were sending their children to safety for 3 weeks at seaside camps, only to find the children never came back. The Ukrainian government estimates that over 35,000 children have been taken. Only 1,366 have returned. The rest are scattered across Russia's vast expanse in foster homes, orphanages, re-education centres, or military youth camps. This is not sporadic or chaotic, it is policy, and it is a war crime. Maskirovka is an old Soviet military doctrine: conceal your intentions, falsify your aims, invert reality, and Putin has repurposed it for the modern era. His officials claim Ukrainian children are not abducted but rescued, that they were abandoned and Russia magnanimously gave them homes. This isn't miscommunication, it is strategic fiction. In Istanbul, when Ukrainian negotiators handed a list of 339 missing children to the Russian delegation, the Russians denied the list's validity, mocked it as propaganda for European grandmothers, and suggested exchanging children for prisoners, a grotesque bartering of innocence for war gains. Natalia, and a Ukrainian mother from Kherson, sent her sons to what she was told was a holiday camp in Anapa in Russia, a 3-week trip. 6 months later, they're still there. With extraordinary courage, Natalia crossed the front lines alone, traversed checkpoints, endured shelling, and eventually reclaimed her sons. Imagine a mother having to liberate her own children from a neighboring superpower. Or Daria Zarivna, Zelensky's advisor, she's leading the Bring Kids Back initiative and sat across from the Trump administration in Jeddah, trying to explain with facts, not tears, that these children are not chess pieces. Her influence is growing, but her motives are clear. We will not trade children for territory or concessions, ever. The Kremlin's aim is not merely territorial, it's ontological. To erase Ukrainian identity. And these children are not just being taken, they're being rewritten, given Russian names, Russian passports, taught to sing the Russian national anthem, punished for speaking Ukrainian. This is a cultural erasure masquerading as benevolence. And here's the strategic dimension. Russia thought it would win quickly. The child deportation program was meant to be a symbolic annexation of Ukraine's future, but as the war has dragged on, the Kremlin has adapted. These children have become hostages, tools in the next phase, negotiation. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Vladimir Putin and Maria Lvova-Belova, his so-called children's rights commissioner. But sanctions are weak, enforcement patchy, and thanks to the Trump administration, the ICC's capacity to operate is shrinking. Yale's Conflict Observatory, for a short time closed, a key team documenting these crimes, hobbles on, but essentially defunded. Meanwhile, the UK has supported the Bring Kids Back initiative and applied sanctions to 19 individuals. Baroness Chapman, responding in the House of Lords, rightly called the abductions abhorrent and stressed that the child returns must be non-negotiable. Yet still most of the children are lost. There are 3 things that are urgent now. The first, that justice must be relentless. The ICC must be funded and empowered to prosecute this crime, because the abduction of children for the purpose of identity erasure is a violation of the Geneva Conventions and the Rome Statute. Secondly, negotiations must centre the children. Ceasefires cannot be entertained unless they include a binding framework for child repatriation, not traded, not exchanged, returned. Thirdly, the international narrative needs to shift. This is not a side issue. It's a defining moral line in this war. It tells you that Putin and the Kremlin is evil. If the world permits child abduction to become normalized as wartime strategy, what remains of civilization's war, of civilization's laws? All you have to do is look at Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The thing that defines the regime as evil is the fact that it has taken the children. Go back to that film, have a look at it, and it defines exactly what Putin has done. There's an old Russian proverb: who lies for you will lie to you. Putin lies to his people. He lies to the world, but worst of all, he lies to children, telling them they are Russian when they're not, telling them their mothers abandoned them when they did not. We must not let the mask stay on. Maskirovka only works when no one calls the bluff. The war for Ukraine's future is also a war for its children. And if we abandon the children, we abandon the very idea of justice itself.